Now.
Open the gates.
The gates have opened. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Ooh, you came in a little hot there, Ben.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm just so excited.
Yes, you are.
Adrenaline's like way up here. Hey, Melissa. P.S. You will get the recording. You should have already gotten one. Good to see everybody.
We're going to get started in 2 seconds, everybody. I apologize for being a few minutes behind. We had conflicting schedules as things happen. We're fighting for the Zoom room, and we won that battle. Just let you know. We won the battle. We're here. All right? Now, well, let me get started here. Let me hit record. I'm blind recording, Ben, so I never know if there's actually any recording.
Hey, let's roll the dice, right?
Live dangerously.
What does Michael Scott say? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
That's right. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. All right, everybody, welcome back. This is part 2 of 3 calls. This is an experiment that we're doing. We're doing a pro call that's free for you to access if you're not a Future Pro person. So we just want to see how this goes, okay? So you're getting a peek into how we do things in the Future Pro group. And we realize there's this thing that we need to help a lot of people do, which is to get a business started. So you're transitioning from zero, either you're at a 9 to 5, you're doing some part-time work, but you haven't fully launched your business yet. And so we thought we have to teach you foundational skills so that you can land your first client and slowly scale that up to like a high 4-figure client to a 5-figure client, and then be able to do this consistently over time so that you can make a living doing what you love, which is the billion mission. Sorry for, one other thing. I heard some feedback from people yesterday. I got a lot of feedback, and the feedback was, this is too much. My brain hurts. Don't make it hurt so much. Okay, and why does it hurt? Because I'm trying to take, I guess, 20 plus years of knowledge and cram it into 3 sessions and get you enough so that you can refer to this and make the progress that you need. So it is intended to hurt a little bit, maybe not as much as I anticipated, and to give you details while moving through a lot of material. So it's I don't know if I threaded the needle. You have to tell me later, like, yeah, it was too much. And I take this as a huge compliment. Someone said, and this was conveyed to me, that this free webinar is better than the courses they pay for. And that's high praise for me. That's the benchmark that we try to hit. Right, Ben?
That's right. And everybody in the chat is like, give me more pain.
Bring
I
it.
need more.
You think, oh, okay, I was going to do a voice. I better work on that before I just whip out that voice. I need to warm up Ben Burns. Okay, you know what? You can't spell benchmark without Ben. So Ben, what is our intention for today? What are we trying to do?
Oh, okay.
I threw you a
I
curveball.
was totally not prepared for that.
Just making sure you're awake and ready.
What is your intention today, Chris?
Look at that. Well played. Well played. That's the first rule in objection handling. Whenever you ask a question that you don't want to answer or can't answer, reflect the question back to the person. Where did you think I went last night, honey? That's what you have to do. Well played, Ben. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to share my presentation and a little bit more Midjourney magic. Even though I'm a Midjourney noob, hopefully I'm going to change that status pretty soon with some help from my friends, with a little help.
That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, so I forgot to keep count yesterday, everybody. So my team reminded me, Chris, this is call number 206 from the Future Pro Group. This is call number 206. We're talking about scaling from zero, more Midjourney, beautiful art. Look at this. Oh, my God. So good. So this is you.
Robot did that.
A machine made this with a little human added to it, okay? This is call number 2 of 3, and the reason why I'm using these dystopian, dark, deconstructed images with some futuristic streetwear is because I feel like a lot of times we talk about the success and we don't take you back to the ground floor when it's dark and dirty and grimy. And this is hashtag grind life. So we want to take you back to the start, as Coldplay would say, back to the start. Okay, so I want to do, I just want to let you to know one other thing. There's call number 3, because you can see 2 or 3. Obviously, there's call number 3. Call number 3 kicks off August 9th. I believe that's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. And the only way for you to participate is to sign up for a Future Pro membership. But this entire thing is fully free and available for you. And if you can't stay here for the entirety of it, you can just watch the replay. That's a beautiful part of registering for one of our events. So stick around to the end, and I'll tell you how. Okay, so let's do a really quick recap because there was a lot to process and unpack. And in case you're watching this out of sequence, if you weren't here yesterday, couldn't watch it, I would pause right now and go back. If you're watching this as a recording, if you're here live, stay right here. Don't go anywhere. We want you to stay with us, okay? So here's the recap. You were able to complete the PVP exercise, personal fulfillment, value to market, and profitability. That exercise alone, it sometimes can hurt people's brain. You were then able to fashion and craft a no-brainer offer. I was talking to Brian just right before we went live. He said, Chris, I'm overthinking this. I'm having a hard time. Look, it's easy to sell something if the client, this is really important, the client perceives it as high value. If you solve a big problem for them, they're going to say yes much quicker. But you don't have to always do it that way. You just bring the price point down into which they say yes, just to get started. And sometimes we can bring that all the way down to 0. I'll do it for free. And in case you get shocked, like we have done music video projects where we knew going in we're going to lose money. So we actually paid for the privilege of doing the work. But we didn't look at this as a client. We looked at it as marketing. And we want to be able to do that. Okay? Now, when you exchange this, you want to make sure you're getting something from it so you're not just giving everything. So we don't do music videos for no-name brands. We do it for bands like Gnarls Barkley. We do it for Justin Timberlake and Coldplay. That's who we do it for. And so you want to be careful about who you're giving this away to, okay? So if you can't get a start, then you just change all your variables. You just compromise a little bit more, and you put that out there so that you can get some traction and see if it works. You should have completed your ideal customer persona, which I love doing with Ben Burns and kind of figuring things out, and we did that in real time. And there's frameworks that you can study and purchase and books that you can read on this, but at least now you have a taste of what it's like to understand the world from your client's perspective. You did a market audit. Some of you had some success with that, and I forget who is. I think it was Daniel who said, there's no one smaller than me, Chris. I'm the smallest. I can find bigger competitors. That's okay. I believe you're underestimating who might be smaller than you, even if you're just getting started, because someone out there has even less experience than you, is even younger and hungrier than you, and less skilled. So I want you to try to just imagine who that person is. It could just be you from 5 years ago. What are they going to try to do to get this client? And you need to be positioned in a way that you can compete against both bigger and smaller competitors. And the whole goal of yesterday, the previous webinar, was to get one person to try you out to say yes so that you can gather the learnings, okay? The reason why you want to gather the learnings is you want to put this into some form of case study if possible. And Ben Burns has a resource for all of you. Many of you already have this. I just want to quickly mention it here. I'll give you the PDF after this so that you can have the link to it. You can just buy the complete case study ahead of your client so that you can understand what kind of components and assets that you're going to need and how to tell the story. A lot easier if you go that way. Okay,
yeah,
so
1 second on that, Chris.
What's that?
Pro members, my panelists in the group right now. If you guys posted in the group with your homework, those of you who posted those results got a free copy of the complete case study in your account right now.
We're going Oprah today, everybody. We're going
Good job,
Oprah.
guys. I was super impressed.
Yes, I was too. Ben, I woke up this morning, I got a whole bunch of messages in my inbox. So you get a case study, you get a case study, and you get a case study.
That's right.
And the rest of you got nothing for you but hard looks. That's all I got. All right, let's keep going here. So the goal for today, it's a lot, everybody, is to figure out how to get your first $5,000 offer. You've done it for free, presumably. Now we need to figure out what paying clients are going to have a problem with and how to deal with them. And the way that we do this is to understand what their objections to paying you $5,000 might be. We're going to do the customer journey mapping, which we talked about yesterday. We're going to do a goals and prioritization exercise to help you figure out what you need to do, what kind of things that you need to create to attract the right kind of customer to find you. And we're going to go deep into the sales page, aka Dan Malt's love letter. We're going to do that today. Okay. And so when you're, what I want to do for this segment is to do a quick test fit, right? Remember yesterday we kind of determined who our customer is. And so I want to bring up a few pro members and talk to them. And this is your opportunity. Ben and Andres, rather than just taking people who raised their hand first, pro members, you can speak amongst the panelists. You have to be able to tell us something, and then we will select it based on the learning opportunities, not because you're first to raise your hand. We need to do this a little bit differently. I can't monitor that right now. So Ben and Andres are going to help me. So you got to tell me who your customer is in just one sentence, as few words as possible, what change they desire, and they want an urgent solution for. These are critical things. I want to change, and I want to change now. Like a 5-year-old. I want it now, Dad. I want it now. Okay. And then tell me what's getting in their way. Without these 3 components, I can't help you. Okay? And then when we bring you up, we're going to ask you a question. Are you going to get rid of their pain, or are you going to increase their gain? And how will you do that? Okay, so this is basically, what is your $5,000 offer? And we're going to look at your key performance indicators and to see how you've dollarized the value. I'll explain these concepts in a second, okay? Kevin Daly, in his book, Socratic Selling, says, sell clients money. It's a funny expression, sell the clients money. Don't sell them identity design. Don't sell them clever copywriting or a well-built website. Tell them how much money they're going to make from hiring you. That's what dollarizing the value means. You assign a value to it. So if you dollarize the value and you can't justify $5,000, no one's going to buy it. If you dollarize the value against $5,000, they might buy it. Breaking even's not horrible. But you want to dollarize the value to be like $50,000. That is an easy buy. That is a no-brainer offer. So let's do this. I'm going to give you guys feedback. I'm just going to hold on this graphic for a second because I love it so much. It's a little hypnotic. Okay. I'm going to stop my share. And let's get into it. Okay. Now, Mr. Burns.
All right. I think I've got 2, but I want to start with Daniel Pohl.
Okay.
Seems to have a very good grasp on who his client is.
Okay, so Daniel, I'm going to ask you a series of very easy to answer short questions. And today I'm going to be a little rougher on you guys. I like if I'm not always rough on you. Just a little bit. If you beat around the bush, I'm going to give you one warning. If you beat around the bush twice, I'm going to say, let's move on to the next person. So, no pressure, okay? Zero pressure, Daniel. So Daniel, who's your customer?
Disruptive and challenger beauty brands.
Right, I remember that. Challenger. Did you say beauty brands?
Yeah, I niched a bit further in.
Yeah, you did. Also, I don't remember that. Challenger beauty brands. Okay, we got you there. What change do they desire? And something they want now, right now. What do they want?
To stand out a bit more. To be differentiated a bit more.
Okay. Is there anything else they want to accomplish right now?
It's kind of, to disrupt their market, to kind of do things a bit differently.
Okay. Why did they want to differentiate and disrupt? What's the purpose of that?
To become the top in their market, essentially. So I feel like they want to become the top in their market to be like thought leaders and brands. Like,
this is a perfect learning opportunity for us. What you're getting to is the ultimate change they desire. What's the first change they desire?
I think to become a bit more confident in their disruption. Like, they want to make sure that the path they're on is right.
Okay.
That'd be what I'd want if I was being disruptive.
And how would they know the path is right?
Sales, social proof, following potentially.
Okay. And of all these things that we can try to sell them, what is the thing that you think they're going to say yes to the quickest?
As in like service or?
No. Is into an outcome they want.
Probably sales.
Probably. How come it took us so long to talk about it? I almost had to beat that out of you. I want you to think like a business person, okay? Not as a creative, Daniel. Almost every entrepreneur, every business that hires you wants pretty much the same thing. Not all, but almost.
Money.
They want to grow their business, plain and simple. And growing their business oftentimes is connected to sales. Some people could just be like, I don't know, time on site or something. That's how they grow their business, or to get more users, active users. So they can increase the time on site, or they can get more active users. They can reduce bounce rates. They can increase open rates. So you need to think about a business objective. So the next person that comes up here, you have fair warning already, because we just did this. So look at your answer. Get ready. Okay. So we'll take more time to work with Daniel here. So there's a business objective that they want to achieve, which is we want to get more sales. And because if we don't get more sales, what happens, Daniel?
They go bankrupt, out of business.
They go out of business.
They don't grow.
100%. They don't get to live to fight another day.
Yeah.
They're not much of a challenger brand. They're just a has-been brand. Okay? All right. And I just want to do a keyword cluster thing with you right now. This will make sense later, and I think we'll circle back to this when we're talking about the sales page. Okay? Let's do a keyword cluster. Give me any adjectives that they might be thinking about, either in the positive or negative. What are their fears? Some adjectives or some nouns. Fears?
Bland.
Bland. Good.
Boring. Not
boring. Mm-hmm.
Not innovative.
Words. You got other words that don't begin with B? Just keep going.
Not innovative. Whether that's a
banal.
Not innovative. I don't know what a word for that would be.
Okay. Those are the fears. Bland, banal, boring.
Dull. Yeah.
Dull. Keep going. You can pull up a thesaurus. You're allowed. This is an open book test. It really is. You can use all the resources available to you, not just your brain.
Dull.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You already told me that. If we're playing Family Feud, that would be an X. Keep going. That answer's already on the board.
Are we still
surveyed? Here we go, Daniel. Hands on the buzzer. You have 60 seconds to get as many correct answers as possible and win this for your family, okay? We asked 100 designers what challenger brands are most afraid of. Survey says...
Feeble-minded.
Woo! Feeble-minded.
That's fired.
Okay, I'll write that down because, I'm being nice, but that doesn't seem like something that they would say. That would be Okay.
Sluggish.
What is that?
Sluggish. Like
sluggish.
Slow. Sluggish.
I like the way that word sounds. Sluggish. Okay. All right. So what are some of their hopes and dreams? Those are some of the fears, hopes, and dreams now.
Bold.
More B words. Bold. Brave.
Courageous.
Okay, courageous. I'll take that, even though it's not a B.
Dauntless.
What?
Dauntless.
Dauntless?
Dauntless.
I don't even know what that word is, dude.
Dauntless.
What's that?
It's dauntless.
Dauntless. Let's not say that word. Only in English, Daniel. Keep going.
Heroic.
Heroic. Uh-huh.
Fearless.
Fearless.
Unafraid.
Intrepid, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to look it up.
We'll go with that
one. Okay. All right. I want you to use really precise language. So when we're looking for words, we want to find the most accurate word, but we want to find the word that they would use themselves. So I don't think a challenger brand would just come out like, we want to be brave, we want to be bold. They might say, we want to be badass, dude. We want to be punk rock. We're freaking pirates.
Yeah.
What are you doing? But maybe not for beauty brands, but I'm just saying. So what we want to do is we want to find the right words, precisely captures their sentiment while using their language. Okay? So I want you to just think about that a little bit more. And that's fine. We're good here with the word cluster. Everybody understand? Everybody's following along? Because when we do our sales page, there's going to be an opportunity here on how to use this. Maybe. I'm just freestyling, going off the script here. Okay. Now, what's getting in their way?
Lack of all those things. Lack of being bold. Lack of being adventurous.
No. Get really specific. We don't just take the word and go opposite. Get really specific, okay? You're a consultant. I'm a challenger BD brand. What's getting in their way? Why haven't they done this yet?
Packaging, maybe. Packaging, marketing.
Specific.
Packaging's very bland and very the same. Doesn't really inspire anybody.
Why?
Because you go into a shelf and I feel like packaging should be like an experience. There's no kind of experience.
Yeah, but why haven't they done that already? They spent the money.
Because they've hired the wrong person.
They hired the wrong person? Okay. So
lack of knowledge.
I noticed something here, Daniel. I need you to get to the more concrete things before you get to the abstract things, right? So you really need to just put your finger on the pain point. Is it because you might have hired the wrong design firm before? Who don't get you?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you're taking notes too, because I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're going to need to use this, or you'll have to watch this and figure it out later. Okay. So what else is getting in the way? So it's just a matter of like, I don't have the right resources.
Yeah. Lack of knowledge, lack of funding, stuff like that.
Oh, we don't want that. We don't want the lack of funding to be a problem, but we'll write that down.
Oh,
because it means they don't have money to hire you either. But it's okay. We can write that down. Lack of knowledge. So, okay. So they're experts at making a beauty product, right? So
yeah.
Are they chemists? What are they?
Yeah. So chemists, they'll be, I suppose you could put like, what's the word, like perfumists? Is that a word? Like the smell?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
There's a term for that. I forget what it's called.
Dermatologists, depend on what, like obviously if it's skincare.
Uh-huh.
Hairdressers maybe, if it's hair care, stuff like that.
Are you familiar with this world?
Yeah.
You are. How are you familiar with this?
Because I've used it all my life.
I mean, I've used things too, but it doesn't make me an expert at it. You need to become an expert in what it is that your target market does, okay?
Yeah.
So you need to interview people. I thought you were going to say, oh, my dad was a chemist, my mom was a hairdresser or something, so that like I grew up in this space. It lends credibility to your story.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we have to like know our audience, and we need to know how they speak, how they talk, how they act, all those kinds of things. This is very important to us because what we want to do is build a connection with them specifically. Does that make sense, Daniel?
Yeah. So I used to work in, I don't know whether this is worth mentioning, but like I used to work in a big department store in the beauty sector. Uh-huh. That's where I got the love for it from.
Okay. This is good. And what problems did you see?
Well, people mainly came in not knowing what they wanted. They had a problem, like, so they come in and say, oh, I've got acne, or, oh, I've got like, I've got greasy hair or whatever it is. Yes. And they go, yes, what do I need? And they'd be like, oh, okay, well.
You need X.
Yeah, this is
okay. That was very specific, but I wasn't asking the question from that point of view. Not the people who walked in, but what did you see as a person who worked in retail in terms of packaging and branding?
Oh, okay. Really, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, everything was like very much the same, and like all the perfume bottles were the same materials. Everything was kind of boxed in like a cardboard box with a glass jar inside, and and so always use the same colors and
lack of shelf presence, maybe.
Yeah, same colors, same fonts.
Yeah,
which is why people used to come in and go, I don't know what I want. Everything looks the same.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So people were blending in.
Yeah.
Are your creative juices flowing just yet? Because I'm ready to write your whole campaign for you right now. I'm not going to. I have to send you another invoice to do that. But is it flowing? Are you feeling something here?
A little bit.
All right. I appreciate you just saying that, even though you're not feeling it. I ask my wife this question all the time. Huh?
I never thought about the experience I had, like in that space. Do you know what I mean? I never thought of it in that way.
Yeah. Why not?
What
You
was your
should.
question?
You should be thinking like your customer,
I
not the
know.
person who walks in, but like, why you, Daniel? Like, why are you so qualified? Well, I used to work in the retail space, and let me tell you, I personally sold over $600,000 of product, and I got to tell you, the three products that people buy the most are X, Y, and Z, and they have these things in common. Do
Yeah,
you want to know that? Because I know how to do that.
yeah. It was. I've never thought. I think I've always thought about the client side of things opposed to the customer side of things.
Well,
Like I've always
what's the
thought
difference
about
here?
the brand as opposed to
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
customer
yeah,
behind the brand.
yeah.
Do you know
You
what I
need
mean?
to think about the brand, not the person walking in the store.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
if you understand one, you'll understand the other.
yeah. They
So
kind of go
here's the
hand in
thing
hand.
that I noticed, right? So when I was working in retail, the same problem would happen over and over again. Customer would walk in, be overwhelmed with the massive amounts of options that they have, and then just pick either something because they're familiar with it or something caught their eye. Would you like to know what I've learned? You see, like I'm setting up the hook here. Each time I'm going
Yeah,
to do the same thing. Okay? Now, I'm giving you a little bit of a hard time, but here's the thing. Your experience is actually pretty common. Like we just look at our whole lives, our entire life experience as normal, uninteresting, and not noteworthy. We have to change that. So you have to step outside of your own skin, look back at yourself from the third person and say like, Daniel, what makes you so qualified? And sometimes it helps to actually, I know it sounds crazy, to have this conversation in the mirror by yourself. Okay? Close your windows and doors, shoo everybody away so don't freak out like, Daniel's lost it. He went to this webinar and now he's crazy. He's bonkers. You look in the mirror and you say to yourself, well, what makes you so special? Why would I trust you? And then you answer your own question playing two roles.
yeah,
So you're going to interview yourself. It might give you a perspective that you've not seen before. Can you do
yeah,
that?
yeah. I think so. Now,
And
now you
have
can
your
see
notebook
that
with
I'm
you.
thinking of all the things that kind of why I love beauty so much and why I love like that industry
Yeah.
so much. And there's things coming to light now that make sense as to
Okay.
why I've niched into this niche.
Yes. Now I'm going to share something back here with you, okay? So everybody needs to be able to answer these questions. Who's your customer? What change do they desire? What's getting in their way? And now, what the heck are you going to do for them? How are you going to help me? Daniel, how will you help me?
Oh, this is what I struggled with. I think it's pain reducer because
What
it's a
pain are you
sale.
going to reduce?
Um, just being in like what's the word like being too blended in. If that makes sense. Like they know that they need to step out of their comfort zone,
Pretend
but
I'm your customer right now and you have 1 minute to tell me, otherwise I'm walking out the door. Look me in the eye right now and tell me what you're going to do for me. I have $5,000 just on the table right now. You have 60 seconds.
we're going to help you stand out on a shelf and online, so customers know who you are and what you do and what benefit you can give to them,
Is that it?
or what your brand gives to them. Yeah, I think so.
Remember, I'm your customer. The money's walking away right now. You got to say it with a little passion, excitement, and energy and conviction. If you're not passionate, I'm not feeling it. You understand? Like everybody who's watching this as a pro member is probably sweating buckets for you right now. Like I didn't realize. Look at
I'm
Pick. She's
literally.
laughing. Pick, are you sweating? You're probably sweating for him, aren't you? I know Kia. It's like 4 in the morning for
Looking
her,
like
but
a
she's sweating
fan or
too.
something. Like,
Come on, it's walking. Money's walking away from you right now.
so, right, ask me again. Ask me again. Just ask me again, and then I'll into it.
You know what? I was watching a review of Pulp Fiction, which I've watched a gazillion times. And then Samuel L. Jackson's character is like, if you say what one more time, you remember that scene, you guys? You know what happens. If you say what one more time, you know, your brain's going to be everywhere. What? Okay, I'm going to give it to you one more time, all right? I have $5,000 on the table. Tell me how you're going to make my business better. You have 60
So
seconds.
we're going to help bring your brand to life, make it obvious to people what you do, what benefits you can give to them, make you stand out on a shelf online, and we're going to, yeah.
Okay. I want to see some hearts in the chat for Daniel.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's show Daniel some love here, guys. Hearts, right? Let's go. Let's go. If you guys were in the hot seat, you'd be feeling it. Got you, Daniel.
I feel hot now. Like, literally.
It's called hot for a reason, okay? All right.
This is the worst thing.
You know what you're thinking right now? Chris woke up this morning. He chose violence.
Yeah, he did.
He chose violence this morning.
You know what? There's a kid in the UK that is enjoying his day today, and now I'm going to ruin his day.
All right, we're gonna work on this. So clearly, everybody, I'm gonna stop and share here.
Just trying to communicate it, like this is what I've always struggled with, is trying to communicate the benefit and stuff. So this helps, but it's
Good. It's so I just want to let you know, there's 1,000 people in this room watching you struggle, and I think I know what they're feeling. Everybody that's in the chat, I think they're feeling #crash and burn, #me too. Just letting you know. That's probably what they're typing in right now, right? And you have to remember, you and I, we know each other. There's no money on the line. Can you imagine if we're strangers and there's money on the line? You would be 1,000 pieces of broken glass on the table right now.
What are we crying right now? I think I'm close. I'm close at the minute. But
You're close to the
crying. Yeah.
Okay.
Get taken over the edge if you didn't know each other.
Okay. There's no crying right now. Everybody, I'm gonna pull it back. Just think about rainbows, unicorns, ice cream cone. All right. So we got, okay, we walk over, right. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew's going to take us into deep meditation prayer. That's what we got to do. We're good. No one cries on the show. Not yet. Soon, but not today. Not on my watch. Okay. Or we're not going to do number 2. That was really like deep. Deep in that, I think there's lots of things to pick out from this. You can see that if you do the work, you should have these answers. So it's a good time for everybody to look down at your answers. Like, all right, what do I want to do? I got 60 seconds to tell someone. And I was being generous with 60 seconds. Have you ever visited a site that you're interested in? How long did you last if they didn't tell you what they did and why it matters to you? They didn't hook you in right away with a strong headline, the first 2 sentences above the fold graphic, and you are done, son. Gone in 60 seconds. They're gone in 10, maybe 5. All right? Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to recompose yourself, get a cold drink, towel off a little bit, apply a second coat of deodorant, and we're going to go right back into it, okay?
I need some, like, burn residue or something, like some burn relief or something like.
Okay, let's work on that. Well, Ben Burns will help you with that. It's in his name. All right, everybody. So you have to tell people quite clearly, with some degree of passion, in the language in which they understand what you're going to do for them. It's that simple. So that was feedback. We're going to keep going. Okay? We haven't even gotten to new material yet. I just wanted to make sure we're good with old material. Okay, so naturally what's going to happen is once you have your no-brainer offer and you've figured out how to pitch and present it to people, you're going to have the ability to speak to their objections. I wrote in Midjourney, human hands find mechanical glowing object in a junkyard, futuristic, dystopian raining. This is what I got. Not quite there, but inching towards it. So what I need you all to do is to anticipate what the top 3 objections a potential client will say to you. And you have to know what these are ahead of time. You really do. This is what it means to be a professional. Now, many of you are not really in that space yet because you're still in your 9 to 5, so it's going to be a little harder for you to come up with these. But I can help you here. And you need to prepare a response. Okay, so let's try in the chat box right now, everyone, type in what you think the number 1 objection is. I just want 1, okay, because there's so many people here. I don't want it to fly at light speed here. Warp 9. Okay, let's see. Cost, it's too expensive, right? Try to write in full sentences because this is what they're going to say. They're not going to just say time.
I can hire cheaper.
Yes.
I
can find cheaper. Good one, Ben. What's that?
We aren't a big name studio.
Oh, they're saying you're too small. I've never heard of you before. I need you to speak it like the way the clients would say it.
It's too expensive.
Yep. I don't see the value here. We can't afford this. Yes, I see them. Good job. They're flying by now.
You don't
Okay.
have enough experience.
Yep. You don't have enough experience.
LJ says, whoa, too much money.
Okay, you can write that down, LJ. Just write, whoa, too much. That's an objection. Write them down. Okay, Andres, I'm going to ask for your help because I can't keep up with this, to go back and scrape the best ones. Just create a document somewhere because eventually we're going to have to answer all of these, right? Keep typing them in. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you're trying to sell, you're going to hear an objection. And it's okay. The first thing I want to do is shift your mindset here to reframe. An objection is not a no to you. Okay? An objection is not a no to you. An objection simply is, I'm interested, but I need more information. Let's reframe that, okay? When they say you're too expensive, you need to hear it like, I'm interested, I need more information. And why do I say this? This is not some mental magic that I'm trying to pull over you. Because when clients aren't interested, what do they say? Well, think about it. They hang up the phone. Let me talk this over with someone. They just punt. Send me a proposal. And you don't want that. Only a client who is interested will tell you how to sell to them so that their fears can be quelled. This is really important. Only a client who's interested in buying from you would teach you how to address their fears and concerns so that they can give you money. Now, for a lot of you, you're like, that's a big reset. Okay. So let's get into it. Let me share. Oh, I'm still sharing. Okay, good. All right. So next, here's what 3 things I wrote down. Just 3 objections that I've heard a million times myself. Or at least you've told me this. I don't have time to do this now. It's too expensive. And what proof do you have this works, right? And some of this will hurt your soul because you've heard it and it's cost you a project or 2 or 10 or 20. And you don't know how to respond. And the worst thing that you can do is you can respond in a defensive way by explaining yourself. Okay? That's the worst way you can respond. So what I'm going to do with you right now is I'm going to teach you really quickly what we do in the the boot camp is how to handle objections. And if you've ever seen me do role play before, there's a good chance you've seen one of those because they're pretty popular on our channel. I'm going to tell you how I do it. I have a rule with myself typically. Is whatever it is I'm thinking, I just don't say it. If I think you're stupid or you're ugly or you're a cheap person, I don't say any of those things. I don't want to filter anything that I say through an emotion. What I want to do is I want to try to understand what they're saying by asking them another question. I want to handle an objection with curiosity and not judgment. Everybody understand that? So I'm going to teach you one way to handle objections right now. It's pretty universal, which Ben accidentally bumped into because he didn't see my deck today. When I asked Ben, so Ben, tell him what the agenda for today is. He's like, Chris, what is the agenda? What is it that you want to talk about? So I want you to ask them a question. Okay? I want you to ask them a question back. We're going to do this together. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do a little role play. Okay. So Ben, I need some volunteers from the Future Pro group. I need one person who's kind of had a rough time with clients before. If you've never worked with a client, it's probably not going to work. So we're going to do this thing where we do, and then later today, you're going to do it. We can't do breakout rooms here. If we were in the normal pro group, we would do a breakout room. I would send you off into the breakout room, and you would practice with each other. Okay, so let me stop to share. So Ben, let me just recap really quickly. One of the objections is whatever Andres tells us, right? And then you're going to be the client, and I'm going to be the seller of services. You're the buyer, I'm the seller. And I'll do it once. And then we'll do it again, but we're going to bring 2 different people up. No, we'll bring another person up, and you'll do it together, and I'll critique it. Okay, so if you weren't sweaty before, you'll be full-on drenched after this. I can almost guarantee it. Okay, Ben? I need somebody to come up who's worked with clients, who's seen them say bad things to them before, and they kind of like, I know the psychological profile of this serial killer. I know who the client is. I can be them for a second. Okay.
Introducing Ashley Smithers.
Well, if I like being able to see your faces because sometimes in another life I was a stand-up comic, but nobody was in the room. But at least now I can see your face, so at least one of you is happy that I make my little jokes here and there. Okay.
I was going to
jokes,
pick
man.
Daniel P, but he said he didn't want to for some reason. It's weird.
Ashley, what's wrong with my jokes?
No, there's nothing wrong with your jokes. I just love seeing you make yourself like laugh. It's hilarious.
Hey,
I do the same thing. It's all
someone's
good.
got to enjoy it. If no one
Yeah.
will, I will enjoy it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're too expensive. Why are you too expensive?
Oh, Ashley, are we starting already?
Honestly, why are you so expensive?
Hold on. I wasn't even ready for this. I was like, what is she talking about? I haven't sold you. We're going to, okay, Ashley, we're going to be dance partners, and it's just, you put yourself in that position. Hold on. That's a little bit too much fire for me. Just give me a second here. I wasn't even ready. Woo! Where's my deodorant? Ashley, go easy on me.
I've got some fresh over here, man. Stress sweat, everybody. Once you have stress sweat, it's all good.
Okay.
Go.
I just realized something. We're now at 1.1 thousand people. If you have a friend who's registered for this and they're still sleeping right now, and you want to tell them you want to see Chris sweat and crash and burn, ping them right now. I'll give you 2 seconds to do that. Like, hey, why aren't you here today? We saw you here yesterday. It's about to get real interesting because he's going to get roasted. All right. Let me zen out first. Let me just do my little meditation.
Go into
prayer.
our like role playing space. I'm gonna turn into a 60-year-old white man right now.
Okay. I just want to center myself, everybody. I'm gonna pretend I'm looking at the horizon. There's a beautiful sunset because I know Ashley's gonna come in with straight fire. Okay, let's try. Let's see what happens. The worst thing that can happen is I can totally fail. And you'll record it and share it on social media. And 1,000 people will see it and it'll go viral. But nothing worse. I mean, that was the worst possible outcome I could think of, right? Okay. Go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah. So, okay, first, what are our 3 objections that we are talking about?
You just give me one.
I just gave you
We're
one.
just
It's
gonna
way
work
too
with that.
expensive.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And you could do it the way you did it before. I was just like, what? It was a cold shower. I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. Look, man. Look. Okay. I get why you've come really highly recommended, but this is way too expensive. We are doing a raise, and we're doing a raise, but like we haven't raised our money yet. Why are you what gives you the right to charge $25,000 to a company that hasn't raised it?
Whew. Okay. So you haven't raised money, Ashley?
No.
So this is a pre-raise?
Yes.
How do you anticipate raising money? What's the best way to get there?
Well, we have to go out and raise it right now. Like we have to go out and we have to do meetings, right? We have we have 4 venture capital firms that we want to talk to next week.
Yes.
But we've had feedback that our deck is shit.
Oh no.
So I can't, we need to get this money.
Okay, I understand. You need to get the money. I don't want to sell you something that you don't have money for and doesn't solve your problem. But you just told me you need a deck and it's not performing for you. That's kind of what I do, I think. Did you like the work that we did in our portfolio? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I do. Oh, your work's amazing.
Damn.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just a price issue?
Yeah.
Is it a price right now issue or just the idea of spending this money that bothers you?
Well, we don't have the money right now. We can't pay $5,000. We can't pay $5,000. There's no way.
Wait, how much?
No way.
Other
People are gonna charge $2,000. Maybe we can get a guy to do it for $1,000. He got recommended for us. I know a guy.
Okay.
It's just PowerPoint.
Okay, I get it. Okay, let me just see if I understand this correctly. Just gonna play back what I heard. You need to raise money. You need a good deck because venture capitalists have told you this ain't gonna cut it. You've hired somebody or did it in-house. You have other options that are less expensive, so why would you want to pay more, right? There's no reason why you would want to pay more, right?
We want to make sure we want it to look right. We want it to look like we need the best.
Okay.
We need the best.
Let me ask you a question here. You know my rate's 5,000. Would it make more sense for you to hire 5 people and try it 5 different times at 1,000, or just hire 1 person?
Oh no, that's too much time. No, it's way too much time.
So there's a time problem here too.
Yeah, no, there's way too much time. No, we need this done. Like, is there anything you can do? Like $5,000, man. Like, you know, there's this other company over here, right? And they're called blah blah.
Blah blah?
Sorry,
You working with blah blah?
I almost used a client
like the
company,
best.
but I can't. They're called blah blah, and we want to look like them. They're out there. They're crushing this.
Blah blah's totally
Right?
killing it. You're
They're crushing it. It's amazing. Why can't we look like them?
That's a really good question. I have a theory, but you're not going to like my theory. My theory is they hired the right people. They spent the money so they could focus on their business. Just a wild theory.
What can you do for us in $5,000? What are you
Yes.
going to do that's going to make us look like that? What are you going to do for? What's the difference between $5,000 with you and
Yeah.
$2,000 with somebody else?
That's a great question. Looking at our work, what do you think that would be?
I don't know. I need you to tell me.
Okay, well, let me just make some assumptions and you tell me if I'm right? You've looked at other firms that could do for 1K, for 2K. And I've been very clear with you, our price is 5K, but you still haven't hung up on me yet. If you had viable options for 1 or 2K for less than half, 1/5 in fact, why haven't you called them and why aren't you talking to them and why aren't
Because I
we
really want to
distant?
work with you, but I just can't afford it.
Okay. So can we make another assumption here? The 5K is okay, you just don't have the money right now. Is that an okay assumption or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah.
Okay. Would you be open to like maybe trying something a little unconventional? Like you agree to pay me maybe $2,500 now, and after you do your raise, your first round, whatever we agreed to, that you'll pay me an additional 5K. So I'll take some of the risk with you now. You follow? So you can pay me 5K up front, or maybe total 7,500,
Yeah.
but only after you raise money. Would that be more
Okay.
palatable for you?
I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
think I can go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now what's the final piece of that? Is it when the raise is done and we've closed and there's a term sheet and everything's done and we've released, right? Is that because
Well, look, that's a very good question. I don't want to tell you how to do this, right? But I don't want to be hitched to your company forever. I just wanted to remove reasonable risk from you. So once you have agreement in principle that you're going to get funding, I would say that it would be pretty safe for you to pay me. I'm a very small business and I can't afford to bankroll this for very long. What I'm willing to do is to say you pay me $2,500 until you get a verbal commitment from somebody, and then you pay me the other 5. Is that okay?
Okay.
Is that
I can do
okay with
that.
you?
That's a little bit more comfortable. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
going to take that.
Okay.
I'm going to go see my board. I'm going to talk to them about this.
Lovely.
We'll come back to you. Yeah.
I love that. First of all, I just want to thank you for being so flexible with me. I know that it got a little heated there for half a second, but just thanks for sticking out with me. I know I can do great work for you. So I'm looking forward to working with you, Ashley.
Oh, there's a huge the pressure on you, man. We know what kind of work you do. We know what kind of work with you. We're expecting massive. We know what we're expecting. We're excited to work with you and add the pressure there. They hang up the phone and I automatically feel like, holy shit, what am I doing? There you go.
Done. And scene.
And scene.
Excellent. Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause. All right.
You almost did what I thought you were going to do what I do, and then you
Yes.
didn't,
What
which
is
is
that?
how much are you raising? Well, how much are
Yeah.
you raising? And
Right.
they say,
I did ask that question, but then you kept talking. You just steamrolled me. And that's okay. It's okay.
they do.
There's a lot of different ways to do this. All right, everybody. Okay.
And scene.
You were fantastic on that. I don't even know if we need to do this again. And so, because you went through like 45 different objections all at once, I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be about this and why you and these other,
Yeah.
cheaper options. You went through it all.
I went through the last call like that I had. That's the exact last call that I had like that. And the thing that I did was because by the end, right, there was so much, just battering down of the price that I sent them that I said, okay, I'm going to send you the deck. And I sent them the deck with the price, my real prices,
Yes.
right? And they tried to do it. They tried to hammer it down again, and I said no, thank you. So right now there is a company that needs a deck that they've had that conversation now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of this is acting and some of it's just mirroring her last freaking call. So you guys, there's some method stuff going on here. Now, let's pause on this for a second. I'd love to ask anybody that can speak to me right now to tell me one thing you learned today in this role play. Just one thing, and try to be as succinct as possible. Excuse me. So if you're in the chat, just write down one thing. And if you're here live with us as a Future Pro member, raise your hand digitally. And we'll just rifle through them, okay? Everybody, just raise your hand digitally. I saw your hand go up. Joshua, do you know how to do that? Go to, I can't do it for some reason. There we go. There we go. Okay. I just need you to tell me one thing in the fewest number of words as possible. Daniel, what's one thing you learned?
Late night FM DJ voice.
Oh, yes. The slow, calm, deliberate, low tone of voice. What does that do for you, Daniel?
Calms you down, makes you feel at ease, lowers like aggression.
Yes. I believe you have a natural FM DJ voice, Daniel. If only you didn't use words like dauntless.
Ouch.
Okay. Let's keep going. Next up is Sharon. Go ahead. What's one thing you learned in that role play?
I thought getting the client to reframe the objection, I think, lowered the barrier significantly.
Can you say that in less smart words? What do you mean, like reframe their objections? Can you just say, like, I don't know what you're talking about?
You got the client to tell you why the objection was, yes, you're expensive, but you never accepted the point of being expensive or not expensive. You never challenged that. But he said, you're okay, you just don't have the money right now. By saying that, your client kind of calms down and moves away from the peak issue of the objection, and then it made the conversation easier for them, even
Wonderful.
for them.
Okay, would you be able to do this in your line of work? Saw his expression change there. Like his mouth did like 45 different moves. There. Maybe not. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So here's the thing: the first path towards achieving a goal is to recognize like what it is that you need to do. We just need to recognize, and then the next thing is to internalize, and then the next thing is to apply. So we recognize, we internalize. What did Chris do? And now you got to apply it. Okay. Thank you very much, Brian. You're next. Go.
Yeah. So you kept taking the attention off of the objection and onto the problem by actively listening and asking good questions. That was my biggest takeaway.
Okay. That was a lot of words.
Sure.
Tell it to me like a dummy.
So you kept asking good questions.
What makes it good?
You were asking questions that were relevant to what they were saying. Like you were responding to what they were saying with questions that got them thinking.
Good. I like the way you said that. Do you have one specific example?
You had asked them about why they hadn't chosen like a smaller firm. They were talking about the pricing and that being their objection. You had asked a question that was like, well, why is it that you're not in a conversation with them? Why is it you're talking with me?
All right. So see what we just did there? Brian used like sales terminology, which if you're in sales, you understand. And then he broke it down, but it was still abstract. And then we got one example that was concrete. Okay? And I'll tell you what I was doing then after we talk to two more people here. Okay. Next up is Joshua. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm such an emotional person that the thing that stood out to me was how you were able to take the emotion out of the conversation. When she came in hot, that you didn't match with defensiveness. You matched with an even tone. And that's a skill that I'm still working on. I like it.
Okay, beautiful. So you'll see that I don't get pulled into the emotional tug of war. It's a dangerous game to play because in that war, they have more bombs than you, and you need them. So there's no point, right? Everything that Ashley threw at me, I tried to embrace and smile right through. It's like, oh, it's a lot. Yeah. Oh, you have other options? Well, how come you're not working with them? And I noticed she deliberately tried, if she can tell me if I'm wrong, to try and stay mad at me, but it's hard to stay mad at me.
They come in hot and they come in stressed, right? My clients are, when they come, they are just running out of money and they just need a little bit more and they're stressed out.
Hanging on with their fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, they're the weight of the world is on their shoulders right now. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So we'll go Vanessa and we'll wrap up with Dylan. Okay. Vanessa, what's one thing?
You leaned in with curiosity, exercising active listening, and you did not revert to defensiveness.
Wonderful. Can you apply that, Vanessa?
Working on the defensiveness part.
Okay. Look, here's the thing. If you surrender your ego, I'm not saying you specifically, Vanessa, to everyone who struggles with this, if you surrender your ego, like I have nothing to kill, nothing to provoke, it's just, it is what it is, man. I'm not saying I'm expensive. I'm not saying I'm cheap. I'm not saying this is the most amazing thing. I want you to make the best decision for you. If you think I'm crazy expensive, I'm not going to argue with you. I agree. Right? Some of you might react like this. Notice I didn't react. Oh, that's a lot of money, Chris. That's $5,000. Do you know how much other companies like blah, blah, blah firm charges? That would have been defensive. Righteously indignant at the fact that you would even question my prices.
I go into explainer mode.
Don't do that either. Yeah, don't explain.
I know, it's so bad. So bad.
What you're doing is when you explain, you sound weak. Ask me a question that you need me to explain something, Vanessa.
How do I provide value that people think is a nice to have?
Oh, okay, I see. Is that from the tone of voice of your client?
I
want you to ask me a client question where you've had a question thrown at you before where you have to explain it.
Sure. Why is it that much? Why is it that much? I could get this for cheaper. It's just a piece of artwork.
That is a fair question. Tell me about what part of this feels like too much for you.
It's just a drawing. You like drawing anyway.
Oh, it's the drawing part? That's too much?
Yeah, like you like to do this. You do it anyway. I need this really quick and fast, and I could give you like promotion. I'll put you on my social platform. You'll have like a little credit. It'll be great. I'll give you a shout out. Why can't we do that?
That all sounds pretty wonderful. Do you accept promotional credits from your customers?
Well, I guess it depends.
Do you pay the electrician, the service providers?
Yeah, but
promotional credit. Is that what you do? Because I've lived 50 years. I've circled this earth or the sun 50 times, and not once has a promotional credit ever bought me anything. Maybe it's worked for you. Tell me where I can get these credits and how I use them. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay, So let's take
the meme of dying of exposure is very real.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, let's just take that off the table, okay? Really, I think I do something. If you like that thing, I'd love to do it for you. And if you don't see the value in that, there's no way I can convince you otherwise.
Yeah. I'll just, I could just get somebody on Fiverr to do it, I guess.
Okay. That's a viable option, I think. And if it doesn't work out and you feel like you want to spend the money with me, give me a call.
Yeah.
Is that cool? All right. Good luck. Bye, Vanessa. Okay. Dylan, you're up next. Let's go.
Hey, Chris. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Right. So I like how you stand your ground and you're so present with, decline. Yeah, I think that's something I struggle a lot too.
Okay.
When your advice monster want to speak up. Yeah.
When the advice monster comes, you just say, shh, not today. Not today.
Yeah.
Right?
Love it.
Yeah. Like Arya Stark, what do we say to the god of death? Not today. Not today. All right. I'm going to teach you how to do this right now. Objection handling. I want you to visualize this. If we were in a room together, which I hope we were able to do relatively soon because I miss seeing you in person. I was like, hey, you come here. I said, Dylan, come here. You stand next to me. I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna argue with you right now. How are you gonna feel? You're gonna start to either cower or you're gonna fight back. It's fight or flight. You're either want to run or you're gonna fight me. Run, you lose the client. Fight me, you lose the client. So I want you to visualize this. I lean over, I grab Dylan by the shoulders. I said, come here, stand next to me, Dylan. Right? So stand shoulder to shoulder with me, not face to face. Now we're facing the same problem together. I want you to visualize this, everybody. Dylan and I, hold on, I have a visual prop. I'll be right back. This is Dylan. He's a nasty client. Okay? I'm Batman. Okay? This is Dylan. And this is me trying to sell to me. See? See me right here, you guys? All right, it's a little Lego dude. See this right here? We start talking. Client's like, you're too expensive. You don't have enough experience. And you're like, oh my God. So you're just fighting each other. But if I say, you're too expensive, I'm like, is it really too expensive? We look at the same problem together. I have cheaper options. Oh, tell me about those cheaper options. Why haven't we used them before? I need this now. Has it worked out before when you've rushed to do things? You see what I'm saying? I know you can't really see this because the lighting is not great here and my face is blocking it. You see what I'm saying? We're going to look at the problem together. All right. This is a Batman sculpt. I love this. If you could tell me the artist who designed this Batman sculpt in the chat, I would be supremely impressed with your comic knowledge, your nerdology here. Yeah, some of you guys got it right away. Thank you. You just call yourself out. Nerds. Hashtag. Well done. Well done. Mike Mignola. Okay.
Right. Thanks, Chris.
You're very welcome. So everybody, I want you to visualize yourself standing shoulder to shoulder with your client like you're two best friends trying to solve the problem together. Right? Your portfolio sucks. Don't react. Don't fight. Do not fight. Do not feel offended. It just means I want to work with you. Please tell me more. I need more information. I know it's really hard to hear it like that, but when you achieve Jedi level objection handling mastery, you'll be able to do this. Your portfolio sucks. Here's what I would say. It does, doesn't it? Why would you want to work with someone whose portfolio is terrible? There's no one in their right mind that would want to do that. Well, I mean, I didn't mean it like it sucks. I mean, it was just too expensive. It is too expensive, right? So I just agree with everything and just ask him a question back. Okay. Some of you comic book nerds are coming out full force. Represent. All right. Back. I don't know where we are in the deck, Ben. I have no idea.
I know that you just went toe-to-toe with Batman and won, so there it is. Mic drop. We're out of here.
I can do Batman's voice. It's the one voice I can do. And Yoda. Very different. Look at me. All right, here we go. All right, we just did role play. We just did that. Now we're going to go into the customer journey map. And so pens and pencils, pens and paper out. Here we go. Okay? There's a framework that I want to share with you that's really easy to remember. If you're into copywriting, you've no doubtly heard AIDA, A-I-D-A. Well, this framework is very similar to AIDA, but it works for the customer journey mapping. And it goes like this, okay? A is for awareness. A is for awareness, okay? How does the customer become aware of your product or service? And you're going to write a little story. Like, let's say my customer's name is Mary. Mary is going on Instagram, searches the hashtag branding design because Mary wants to be inspired. And in the For You page or whatever it's called these days, your feed, something pops up and catches her eye. Happens to be my piece. Why does Mary become interested? What captures her interest? What makes them take a closer look? Well, it was an unconventional beauty package that caught our eye. It was the colors, it was the typography, it was exquisite, but the photography on it was just amazing. So of course she clicked on it. Why does Mary desire? So what makes them want your specific solution over others? Well, Mary clicked on our profile picture and then traced it all the way back to her Instagram account and became even more fascinated just looking at the volume of really high quality work. And it's just the thing that Mary wants. So Mary clicks on the link in the bio and goes back to our website. And there, Mary sees an amazing, robust case study that just the cat's meow. It's written beautifully. It's captivating. It's like, is this Shakespeare who wrote this copy? Must be. So good. Then Mary's like, I think I can possibly afford this, and hopefully I can. And there's a contact piece of information here, and I fill in the customer intake form or whatever, and then lo and behold, I get a response within 10 minutes. These people are super responsive. So we get on a call, we discuss the problems and projects. Instead of selling me something, I felt heard, seen, and like I have a true business ally in the world of design. I'm ready to give you my credit card information right now. Operators are standing by. So this is the C in conversion, what makes them buy. And after which, not only did they meet my expectations, they delivered delight. It was wonderful. Oh my gosh. Daniel made me feel so good. He's got that sweet accent. You know, he's such a kind, gentle human. I felt taken care of, and I can't wait to tell other people. Like these things, I can't even keep them in stock anymore. Before, we couldn't move our inventory. Now, I can't keep up with demand. Amazing. If you love great packaging, if you want to improve your business, please call Daniel. See? That's how it works. Okay? So you may want to screen capture this part, and then you're going to write your customer journey. Imagine how your ideal customer will find you, why they become interested, and subsequently hire you, and why they would ever recommend you. What did you do that went beyond their expectations? And I want to be clear by saying this. I don't mean when they ask for 2 concepts, you gave them 3 concepts. That's just part of the job. It's what you're paid for. What I'm talking about is something that's unexpected, yet feels valuable to them on a personal, human-to-human level. This is really important. So when you are hired by a big client and they come over and they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with you, and you invite them to go to dinner together, you think, I'm delivering excellent customer service. I'm going to deliver delight. That is not, because that's how most business people run. You've not done anything different or memorable. However, when they come to visit your office, if you save a parking spot for them with their name on it and you greet them specifically, this is why hotels do this. When you check into the room, the TV is on and it says, welcome, Doe family, welcome, Chris, on behalf of the Ritz-Carlton. I've never stayed at Ritz-Carlton. I'm just pretending like I'm a player. On behalf of the Hilton Motel 8 chain, we'd like to welcome you. Okay? That's what's happening there. So I asked Mr. Ben Burns to share with me his customer journey. You know, the funny thing is I've asked Carrie, Stephanie, Ben to help me write their own customer journey because it's going to be different. And I guess they didn't know what this was, so we'll all learn something together. So I'll just quickly read through my translation of Ben's story, and if Ben wants to add anything to this, welcome to do that, okay? So how does the customer become aware? Well, an agency director, his target, remember, opens a cold email from him and responds to an invitation to a no-pitch lunch. I promise you, I'm not going to pitch you or sell you anything. I just want to have lunch with you because I'm new in town. And they agree. So they meet up, they have a conversation. The agency director has a warm feeling about Ben, but doesn't have a job for him. Ben never asked for one. Okay, so the director then refers Ben to another project because the budget was too low for them to take on for conflict of interest, whatever. So he doesn't get the client directly, but he gets through a referral. And this referral leads to an in-person meeting when Ben, because he's been trained in the art of ninjutsu, doesn't come in with advice, doesn't come in with presumptions. He asks lots of big, beautiful, calibrated, open-ended questions. They see that Ben has a beard. He looks like he's former military or policeman, you know. They hit it right off, and this rapport is being built with his outdoor equipment manufacturer, this product owner. And immediately he feels a difference between the previous experience. And so the conversion happens that they make an appointment, they meet and everything. So during a quick discovery call, the client connects with or comments on a previous experience that went wrong, and Ben immediately understands too many stakeholders, what a big mess. So Ben tells him, I have experience on how to bring people together to get alignment on the problem. With that, the biggest fear for Robert the rugged rebel, ready to sign on the dotted line. After working together, the client loves Ben's facilitation style and how involved they were in the key decision-making process. Ben was very thoughtful, a creative that was responsible. What a refreshing difference. Got great results, great experience recommending Ben and hiring Ben to everyone on the team and some of his colleagues. Okay, why do we write the customer journey like this? Because if you're doing this correctly, you'll soon realize, oh my gosh, I don't know how to facilitate. I don't know how to ask big, beautiful questions. I'm seeing holes in my game. I'm seeing that I'm asking for too much in an email cold outreach. You see, so when you write this, it should immediately trigger, my gosh, I have to redo my website. Oh, I didn't include SEO links or a call to action or something. This will tell you where you're short. This is not a mirror of what you're doing today, because if what you're doing today works, you shouldn't be on this webinar. So this is how you meet the client where they're at, and it means you have work to do. Ben, is there anything you want to add?
No, just to clarify some confusion. I didn't get the email. I emailed them. It was an outreach play. I invited people to lunch.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't tell that part of the story correctly there. You're going to write this.
You told it correctly. I think it was just a
clarification thing.
Clarification.
Okay.
I'm also going to look for a YouTube video I have on how I structured these outreach, and I'll put that in the chat for you guys.
Okay. All right. Going back to sharing here. And next up, I'm going to share Stephanie's story. So I kind of tweaked it a little bit, Stephanie, and then I hope you'll be able to chime in here. So awareness. An art director discovers work through the IG Explore page. I added these parts because they were using certain hashtags they're looking for. I made up a couple: Adobe Illustrator, line art, line illustration, brand illustration, something like that. They become interested because the art director sees great work and then sees, clicks through and sees work product and process reels, follows Stephanie's account at Goldsheep, clicks the link on the bio and goes to the website. They desire it because they discover a logo quilt and licensing portfolio. Like, there's brands that they recognize that they want to work with. We want to be like them, or we're amongst them. They're our peer group. We want to work with Stephanie because of that. And sees there's this whole licensing portfolio they didn't even know about. Super impressed. So they click on a contact button, schedule a meeting. And during the conversation, they commission Stephanie to work on a campaign of 3 illustrations for a project that they're doing. But they also became super interested in the licensing, the existing library that Stephanie has. So they're in discussions about that as well, on top of the 3 illustrations they've commissioned. The terms seem fair, very reasonable. Stephanie and her business partner, super relatable. They transfer the money. Clients love the work. It's exactly what they had hoped for. They give a glowing testimonial, and colleagues inquire, and they make sure to recommend Goldsheep. Stephanie, bring yourself online. Hey. So some things that I noticed in your customer journey is we want to be super specific if we can. So the fact that you don't have hashtags at all in your account, because I studied it last night, I don't know how anybody's finding you at all. None of your posts have hashtags.
They're in the first comment.
Oh.
Because
you don't have to do that.
That's what I hear is the thing to do.
Okay.
I would add that it's, even though we have heard from people in the industry that Instagram is still the #1 place that art directors look, we still do our due diligence and post all that work on Behance and our website and everywhere we can, Pinterest. Yep. But Instagram, we know, is the #1 place that art directors are looking for new talent, and that is the place where we have been discovered, and that is the place where we will continue to put our social media eggs.
Yes, and you've literally been able to get clients off of Instagram, which is not something that everybody can claim, right?
Yep, we have.
Okay. You're looking super groovy today.
You told me I was going to be on camera, so I brought it.
You did bring it. I tell myself I'm going to be on camera every day, and I don't bring it, so I just want to acknowledge. You know what they say, Steph? Game recognizes game.
Okay.
You and me, we always bring it, right? Look how I'm jumping on your hype train. Okay, so a couple of things. I want to bring it back here, so I'm going to bring it to the screen here. Thank you very much. Okay, look at this, everybody. You'll start to spot some problems here, like if the link in the bio isn't clear because it's cluttered with junk, or when they go onto your feed, your actual account, it's totally inconsistent. One day you're eating tacos, the next day you're walking dogs, and then, oh, there's a branding project. You have to be super curated about this because they have 10 seconds to make a decision. Do I want to follow you? Yes, great. Do I want to check out your website? Was it easy to find? And once I land on your website, what am I seeing? What story are you telling me to bring me in? So the AIDCA framework is designed to help you to become as attractive as possible to increase the probability of someone reaching out, but you have to do your work. Every time I've done the journey mapping, I realize where our faults are. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. So once you write your journey map, your customer journey map, you have to then say what changes do you need to make to your existing marketing outreach and your social channels and your website. I want you to make a list. At this point in the video, if you're watching this in replay, I don't know why my voice just cracked like I'm still going through puberty. Pause the video and make a list before you continue. And then we'll lead you into the next thing. We're getting close to the end here, okay? Everybody hang in there. But you're going to want to stay for the last part, which is a sales page. So don't go anywhere. I promise you it's going to be good. Something I've never shared before. All right. So now you need to prioritize the things you need to do. So for Stephanie, she might say, okay, I need to think about my hashtags and I need to make sure I'm ranking very high. Maybe I need to use a program like flick.io or whatever. I forget what it's called, flick.tech. And I need to research high-performing hashtags. I need to research accounts where I'm going to be competing against. I want to be right next to them and make sure that people see our work and their work in the same light. It might be that she has to redesign her landing page to speak specifically to someone who's looking on Instagram. It could also mean that, oh my God, we've really dropped the ball and we haven't done this on Pinterest in a while. We need to keep doing that. So we're going to use something called the Eisenhower graph once we have a list of things that we need to do. So the Eisenhower graph is basically we have every kind of idea that we can come up with that's going to help us increase our visibility and improve the probability that a client's going to reach out to us. So we map it against an impact and effort graph, right? Oh, I'm sorry. This is impact and urgent graph. Sorry. Like it's going to be impactful and it's urgent. It should be impact and effort. I messed up on this, everybody. I apologize. So on something that's impactful and if it's a lot of effort, we're going to not do that right away. So it'll look something like this. You start to map it out, okay? And you place them in the right categories relative to each other. It doesn't really matter how you score as long as you score consistently. Like, oh, building out a website, that's super hard, but it's also super impactful. Let's just say that's your idea, okay? So then you would figure out which ones to do, which ones to ignore, which ones to plan to do. Everybody understand that? And you would map that out. So ignore that it says urgent and not urgent. Let's just say it's called a lot of effort and no effort at all. So you want to do things that are easiest, that have the highest impact, as opposed to doing the things that are really difficult that have no impact at all. Okay? Sorry, I screwed this up. We'll fix the slides before we distribute this. Okay. All right. Now we go on. Okay, so basically, once you make a list of things that you're going to need to do, and then you prioritize that, you just make this list. So you don't go on to number 2 until you finish number 1. You work on the thing you're supposed to work on first, and you get that off your list. Okay. Sales page. Here we go. We're emerging from the junkyard. We found the treasure. Okay. There's something that Dan Mall wrote for young students on one of his videos for AIGA. You can find it on Facebook, and I have a link, so when the PDF is sent out, you can just click on the link. It's about 18 minutes in that he starts talking about this. So Dan has this concept that a good sales page should be like a love letter to your ideal client. So it has certain things. And from the point of view of the person who's hiring you, he calls them a hiring manager. You're not looking for a JOB, so they wouldn't be hiring manager. They would just be chief marketing officer, chief revenue officer, somebody, VP of something is looking for you. So the question that they're going to be asking when they look at your website is, do you have what I need? Can I tell what it is that you love to do? And what is it that you think you're the best in the world at doing? This is kind of their mindset, right? Do you do what I need? Are you good at this? Maybe best in the world? If so, we have a match. So I want you to look at the client and you like this is a relationship, like a love letter. And there's certain things that are going to turn us on and a lot of things that are going to turn us off. Okay, so this is the link to the video. Dan Mall is super friendly here. And if you click on that link, you'll be able to watch the video. Or you can just Google it. Okay. So Dan says what we need to do is we need to address your website to a very specific person. And what he wants you to do is create a separate domain or subdomain so that you're sending out different pages addressed to different people. It's super strategic, and I love how he does this. And since once you have your domain, setting up a subdomain doesn't cost you anything. So here's how it goes, right? So he would set up one, say, for the North Face, .danmall.me, something like that. And this is how most of you do things. Hello, I do branding and identity design for gaming companies in Washington. What's the problem with this? The North Face is not really interested in gaming companies, and they're not based out of Washington. So it's a complete mismatch. And he does this on purpose because he wants to show you that if a client winds up on your website and doesn't see what they want to see, it kind of sounds like this. We're not a good match. I'm going to keep looking. Okay, I hope that's clear. And if you look at your portfolio right now, I'm like, oh, my portfolio is great. So you send it out to people and they don't respond. Why? Why is that? Because it's a complete misalignment between what you do and what they need. So he's like, make multiple subdomains, one for each client that you want to work with. So look how he changes. I just made this up based on the video that he was doing. I didn't quite literally do what he was doing. So the North Face one would say, hello, I do branding and identity design, super clear, for outdoor lifestyle companies in the Bay Area. Why the Bay Area? The North Face headquarters is there. For Apple, I do branding and identity design for personal computing companies in Silicon Valley. For Xbox, I do branding and identity design for game developers in Seattle. You see the theme here? It's very tailored and specific to your target. So this all falls apart, everybody, if you didn't target someone, if you weren't clear, if you were saying, I want to work with entrepreneurs. How's that going to sound? Entrepreneurs.danmall.me. Hello, I do branding and design for entrepreneurs everywhere in the world. Feels a little distant, a little cold. But he's like, what if you don't have real projects, right? So he talks you through this. Like, what if you don't have any experience? Like you're like Daniel and you're still getting started in the beauty, packaging, CPG space, and you're not, okay, so he has a solution for that as well. If you feel a little bit of an imposter syndrome, you can have fake projects, spec projects we call them. You can say, again, hello, I do beginning to end branding and identity design for local and fictional sports teams. This would be for Nike. So adding the word fictional in there gets you off the hook so you can show projects that you've never done for a real client. And it takes away their objection like, oh, tell me about that time you worked with Adidas. Oh, I never worked with them. Oh, okay. But we can do better than this. We can address it to someone specifically instead of saying just hello. So we would change that. Like he found out through some research that Julie is the decision maker in working with vendors. So he's added one other thing. He's added a call to action. So now he's saying, hi, Julie. I do beginning to end branding because he found on their website they're looking for agencies who do it from beginning to end, soup to nuts, as they will say, a full service branding studio for local and fictional sports teams. I'd love to work with Nike. Okay. It's getting better, right? So we're going to add a specific call to action here. And now he's going to say, do you need help with design and packaging for a new shoe release or something like that? I just made that up. Can you see where this is going, everybody? And we don't want to stop there. He says, make it even more custom. Tailor the design and your work to them specifically. And there's lots of ways to do that. So he changes the site again. He knows that Nike uses all caps, Futur, bold, condensed. I hated that typeface, by the way. So now he's like, hi, Julie, in the orange color that Nike uses. And then he includes curated work that feels like it's in alignment with what Nike would do. Now, I don't know about you. No one's ever done this for me. But I imagine if I got one that said, hi, Chris, and told me exactly what I needed to hear and showed me only relevant work, it would impress the heck out of me. In the example he was sharing, he's like, okay, so orange doesn't work with some of the other colors that you might have in your portfolio. So he's like, let's just invert the colors, go to black, put the orange in the high jewelry part, and you're good to go. Okay, so in summary, what you want to do is you want to address it to someone specific. This requires research and targeting. You want to tailor your messaging by doing research to figure out what it is they're looking for in a partner, in an outsourced vendor. You want to add a clear call to action, customize the design, and then curate the work. Here's your checklist. Screen capture this. Okay. Summary before we go to Q&A. My gosh, Ben, somehow, despite all the rambling and the role-playing, we're almost on time.
This is amazing.
I know.
I'm genuinely impressed, sir.
Jeez, I'm never on time. Okay, so you want to be able to test fit your $5,000 offer and to be able to find key performance indicators and to dollarize the value to the client. What you're theoretically selling has to be worth way more in their eyes than $5,000. So in Ashley's case, raising money for a startup tech company, they're talking about millions and millions of dollars. $5,000 ain't nothing. You want to be able to figure out what the top 3 sales objections are and be prepared to address them and even possibly bring them up first when you're on the call with them. This is a verbal thing. It's not an email thing. You want to manage your tone of voice. You want to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. You never want to react. You don't want to get emotional, and you want to use the right tone of voice. The late night FM DJ voice. You're going to build out your customer journey map, AIDCA, awareness, interest, desire, conversion, and advocacy. It's going to reveal things to you that you need to change right now. Prioritize that based on the greatest impact and the least effort and crush that list. You need to write your love letter sales page, the thing we just went through. Some resources real quick, and you'll want to screen capture this. Finding Your Reason for Being is a YouTube video. It's an Ikigai video. A book written by Pat Flynn called Will It Fly to be able to test out your ideas. It's free on Kindle. I mentioned earlier the complete case study, which is $79. You might want to buy that, get that resource. Some of you have been gifted that during the Oprah moment today. Ben and the team have come up with a bunch of resources for you on a HubSpot testimonial form, how to ask for referrals. There's a template for that. When to talk about price. There's a blog post. How to talk about price featuring yours truly. And the book that I often go to, probably the number one book that I go to, is The Win Without Pitching Manifesto. Okay, now I want to let you know this is the end of the Open Pro calls. The next one happens on August 9th. It's only available to active paying members of the Future Pro Group. This is an invitation. I hope you got tons of value today, and you'll want to join us because we'll talk about lead generation, how to build authority, how to do this consistently and scale up, and we're going to go through a case study, and we're going to examine a case study to see what they're doing and how you can apply how they're marketing. It's a moving company called Greystone. Future Pro people already know about this, but I've scanned in the documents. They have continued to send me more material, so we'll have a lot to look at. And we're going to compare that to what competitors are doing. You can see there's difference, night and day difference. Okay? Let's go over to the Q&A, and I'll stop my share. Okay. There's still meaty stuff that's happening, so don't run away just yet. I'll tell you what. I'm going to take a breath and drink water. If you need to run to the bathroom, now would be a good time. Microbladder, go do your thing. Turn off your camera. Look at people dashing off camera. I love that. I love that.
All the cameras are turning off. That's great. While you're taking a drink, I just want to answer some logistics questions here.
Okay.
Guys, the replay is going to be sent out. You'll have it in your inbox today. That being said, it's only going to be available until Friday evening. If you are a pro member and you're in the pro group, obviously, this will be added to the content library. So for those of you guys who don't know, this will be one of over, 500 calls now that you can have access to. And that's all in a handy, searchable library. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat if you guys are interested in joining the pro group today. The window closes Friday evening. And so if you want to join the call next week, make sure you jump in. I would love to see you guys in there. All right.
Yes, and I would just want to quickly mention, Andres does a wonderful job of indexing current calls so that you'll be able to jump right to the chapter. So you don't have to sit there and scrub through and trying to find it. He also does annotations so that you can clearly see what's going on. And through Ben and I don't know, however many people have been helping us with this, the calls are now searchable by words, keywords. So you just type in sales objections, and if I said it, it will find it for you and it'll show you the one that has the most hits on that. And so it's something that we've been working on for a long time, and we finally got it up online and are going back to implement all that throughout the old videos. I personally have done probably, I know, what did we say this call was? It's call 206, but I don't always number them. So I personally have done 206 calls, which you have access to. They're often an hour and a half long, and they're just like this. There's more interaction because here I'm transmitting more than I am workshopping it with you. Okay? Some of them have worksheets and resources. Some of them are like beta of courses that I have yet to release to the public. We did one on personal branding, but using pop culture as an influence in developing your personal brand. We talked about how to create a knowledge product ecosystem. So that's going to be a forthcoming course that we're going to release. But Ben, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, like, you're great and everything, but we also have video recordings from many different voices. There's office hours from accountants and attorneys and psychologists and therapists, and there's tons of value that you can get from this, from your membership. And also, Stephanie just reminded me that for those of you guys who joined this week, we have a playlist of office hours lined up about lead generation just for you. So when you join, that can be one of the first things you hit on your way in. And I think that's about it.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat.
I want to smash some questions here because I know that it's a lot to process in 48 hours. Like, you're still recovering from the mental workout from yesterday, the previous call, and now you're like, oh my God, there's even more stuff to do. And you remember at the very beginning of us going on this journey together, I need you to figure out how to run the basics of a business to be able to create an offer that someone says yes to get some experience doing this, whether it's low or no money exchanged at the beginning, to then slowly ramp up through the scaffolding model that we talked about. And I think once you're at a place where you can have 3 to 5 clients under your belt, I know, I'm super confident in this, I know how to get you to that very next level. Okay? And Ben, you were supposed to say, Chris, you're great, and we have office hours, but yes. Okay, so let's knock out some questions. Andres or Stephanie or Kia, are there any questions that you've been scanning that you would like me to answer first? I'm going to spend, oh my God, hold on. I have to check. I'm going to have to be somewhere. Oh, okay. I have to be somewhere at 11 o'clock for a podcast interview, everybody. So we have 15 minutes to go. Okay? Let's drop as much value as we can. Come in hot. Whoever wants to ask a question for anyone, let me know. Ben, Andres, Stephanie.
I got one.
Go ahead.
After we figured out our audience and identified decision makers, how frequently do we send those love letters to them?
The love letter is a website that you build, okay? And so I'm sorry to say this. You built a customer journey, and so you're finding and designing a way for your customer or your client to find you. And so all roads are going to lead back to this thing. At some point, you're going to, if they were to comment on your LinkedIn post, for example, and then you engage with them in DM and you build rapport, at some point, you're going to want to send this link. I didn't cover it today. you'll send this link to them. I'm just trying to cover this in case some of you are just real go-getters and are ready to start selling today. I think I'll cover more of this in the subsequent call, the step-by-step process on how to do this. Okay, pro members, you know this, and I don't know why you don't do this. Richard Moore gave 2 amazing calls, a two-parter, on how to sell on LinkedIn via DMs. It's an excellent resource, step-by-step process, and I keep getting people asking me, so Chris, how do I sell on LinkedIn? It's in the archives. Please, everybody in the audio-only archives, go grab it there. Listen to it, take notes, and apply it. After you apply it, I'm almost certain you'll have no questions for me because you'll start to get some opportunities. But please apply it first. Okay. Who's got the next question?
I have a question.
Yeah, I gotta know.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Ben.
Harvey's asking, how do you assume the right way to build awareness? Like, what
That's
channel
the
do you
same
pick?
question I picked.
Is it? It's a good one, right? Like, where do we go?
Right there. That's some Jedi stuff.
That's right.
Okay. Your ability to accurately map your customer journey will be largely dependent on how well you know your client, how well you know your industry and customer behavior. I don't know. I cannot answer that question on a broad level. If someone asked me, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's my customer journey map. So for the future, people in the Future Pro group, you guys know this. Annalie runs office hours, right? You can ask her because she's very much about behavior management, behavior modification or change. I forget what it's called. And so this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to get them to do something that you want. There are ways to do this. So you can present to her during an office hour, or you can talk to Matt Essam during his office hour. Hey, I was told by Chris, customer journey map, here's my client, here's what I'm showing up with homework, can I get your feedback? And get real feedback from a coach. Is that right, Annalie? Is this, what do we call this term? Okay, she's giving me the piece. I'm correct. We're good to go. Thank you, Annalie. All right.
And I think it's really just going to depend on who your clients are, right? My outdoor enthusiast client is probably going to be doing Tough Mudders. He's probably going to be following the Spartan Race on Instagram. Dude is probably not on TikTok, right? So this is why we can't just preach an overarching strategy for everyone, because your customers are all different. You have to go where they are. And that's part of building that customer journey map.
A lot of people's clients are on LinkedIn because they're like the head of marketing or something like that. But I know mine are on Instagram, and that's why I focus on Instagram. But I know Pick in the pro group, one of her office hours is in the playlist with lead gen. Hers are on LinkedIn. So she like doubles down on LinkedIn. You really got to know. And it goes for me. I know that the art directors are in Instagram because I ask them, and I ask people who get work from art directors. So building that community and knowing people, just ask them and they'll gladly tell you where people are hanging out.
All right. Who's next?
I got one. How do you ask the right questions to ensure you're giving your target audience something they need or want?
How do you ask the right questions to ensure your audience gets what they need and want? Can you be more specific, Andres?
Yeah, let's pull up Brian Drake. He's in the audience here, or in the
Brian
panel.
Drake, step up.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? So one of the problems I've been running into when I'm talking with, my target audience, which honestly I'm still trying to figure out, but I'm finding that I'm not asking the right questions. And my question, I guess, is like, is there an effective approach to going to somebody that you want to work with? Ask them the right questions so you get the information you need to kind of build your offering for them.
Yes, you could read The Coaching Habit, or you can Google The Coaching Habit, and he gives you 6 questions. And the first question is, what's on your mind? And then you ask him, and what else? Is there anything else? What do you need help with? How can I help you? It's really, I'm going to tell you the strategy, and then the words you choose can be up to you. Okay? This is a little bit more sophisticated than what we plan for on a call like today, but let me just tell you what's happening here. One day you wake up, Brian, and you realize you have a problem, and it's been bothering you that you can't solve this problem. You're perplexed. It's giving you anxiety and stress. and you realize the only way you can make that problem go away is by spending money. When you're hungry, you spend money, you get a piece, you get something to eat, right? When your clothes are dirty and you can't wear them anymore, you take them to the laundromat or you have dry cleaning service come up and pick it. You pay money. So we understand this. When I realize I have a problem, it's called like an inciting incident or a compelling event happens for me to realize I have a problem. I'm looking for a solution. So I don't know who to look for. I don't know what to search for. But if you were to contact me at the point in which I realize I have a problem and you ask me, what is one big problem that you haven't been able to solve? What's the one thing that if you were able to do would make all your other problems be easier or not necessary? What is one goal you're trying to accomplish you haven't been able to? So you see, it's almost always the same question. How you say it, the exact phrasing matters less than the intention behind your question. I want to help you solve a big problem. If I can't, I'll refer someone. If I can, then I'll ask you more questions and we'll go deeper and deeper. So what is the wrong question then? Because we can understand it from what the right question is. We can do inversion thinking. So Brian, let me ask you this question. What would be a wrong question to ask?
I guess a wrong question would be,
give me one. It
okay,
should be very easy to ask me a wrong question.
Okay, so a wrong question is, how long have you been in business?
That's not a wrong question per se.
That's not a wrong. Okay, I think I've been so focused on trying to find the right questions.
Right. So maybe you already know the right questions. Okay, pro people, give me an example of a wrong question to ask. Okay, we see. Wolf, go ahead.
Why do you need a testimonial?
Okay, why is that a wrong question?
Well, I know Brian is focusing on building testimonials and storytelling, so he's trying to get the customer to go into what he's offering.
I see. That is called a leading question. You're asking a question that drives you, the client, to something that you specifically do. So you're not really that curious about their business and their real problems. You're just wanting to get to the sale as fast as possible. Okay. Do you want to hire me? That would be a wrong question. First of all, it's yes or no, and you're asking for something that's selfish versus being generous. Those are the wrong questions. So asking fake questions, asking leading questions, asking too early a binary question that's selfish versus serving, those are probably good examples of wrong questions. So you can, today, make a list of what wrong questions are and stay away from them. That will lead you to the right question. Okay? I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Just to recap, it sounds like what you were saying is the wrong questions come from the wrong intention. It'll just, if you kind of go at it with the wrong intention, then you'll start to steer the client. Yeah. So it's okay.
Sometimes you can have good intentions, but you don't have the words and you're not a great communicator yet. And it comes out all jacked. Like you have the best intentions in the world that you just kind of ask it in the wrong way. Okay?
Cool. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay. A couple more questions and I have to run. I think I do like a few more minutes here.
Got one. For the there's a lot of questions about the subdomain. I think that's blowing people's minds. For the subdomain sales page, is this more effective than a plain email, slideshow, or document?
I think what happens in email is you're asking to do too much. So I'm going to ask you this question. I want you to sell how you buy. I want you to market how you consume. So I don't know about you, but I probably get 300 junk mail in my inbox, and they're the bane of my existence. I just want to delete them. I can't delete them fast enough. I unsubscribe, I block. I just do it. Get off the list, right? Like, why are you selling me something right now? I think the most effective email that you can send is a super interesting pattern interruption in the subject line and 2 sentences. I think you're trying to do too much and it turns into spam.
I recently told a brand that when I was a kid, I named my dog after them and they booked a call with me.
That's a very interesting hook, by the way.
And it was a very large brand. And it's just the way I go about this is what is everyone else doing? And I'm going to do something else. So if everyone's
you got to do.
You got to do something else. So I see this landing page with the subdomain is something that not a lot of people are doing. So it is definitely a pattern interruption.
Yeah. Ben Burns, what did you say? How did you get people to say yes to having lunch with you, which is a big time commitment, by the way?
Free food.
Well, how'd you say
what
it?
it was?
Did you say free food?
I said, hey, I'm a designer. I'm new to the area. I would love to meet, talk about the industry, just trying to meet people and understand what Richmond's all about. Would love to sit down with lunch. My treat, of course. No sales, I promise.
Okay. That's written in the Ben Burns voice. It's not written in the Stephanie, I'm super clever with words, I'm going to hook you in voice. So here's what we would do with Ben Burns. I'm going to take a stab, Stephanie. And Kezia, you guys can jump in and correct me here, okay? You can offer up something better. I would probably write in the subject line, have you read this? ? And a small image of the book, Never Eat Alone. I have. I'd like to invite you for a free lunch. I promise I will not pitch to you. So the same idea of an invitation, but like maybe just a little bit of a hook or a question. And I want to do it in the fewest number of words possible because brevity is, it's a king. Got to get it down. Stephanie, how would you write a lunch invitation? It's a no pitch lunch invitation.
Lunch on me. Just the subject headline?
Or whatever. Yeah. What's the concept? Lunch on me? Okay, that works.
Lunch
So
on me.
mine was, have you read this? Yours is lunch on me. Ben, what was yours again? Free lunch?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, you can just make it
something
up.
something like free lunch. Like
free lunch works.
Want to grab lunch? ?
Yeah. Okay.
Right now, I'm emailing music companies in the rock space, and I put, please allow me to introduce myself because it is an iconic lyric from the Rolling Stones, and people get it.
See, you speak their language. This is really important. You've learned the lyrics. That's a Pat Flynn expression. You've learned the lyrics of your community, your village, your tribe. This is very, very important.
And if I'm sending stuff to Star Wars stuff instead of the rock music stuff, different subject line.
What would that be?
I don't know yet. We're working on that one. Put me on the spot.
I only put people on the spot. You know what a key person of influence does? They don't want to be in the spotlight. They shine the spotlight on. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
All right. Okay, Ashley, what did you wanted to say here?
I was going to say be cognizant of their day too, right? So if you're doing this for Wall Street guys or Bay Street guys, talk about free shrimp cocktail after dinner, after work, right? Find out where they all go and tailor it to that too.
Yes. Okay. Ben, one last thing and then I got to go. Anybody, one last thought? Or I'll say my piece. Maybe I should say my piece.
Yeah, say your piece.
Okay, everybody. This is me saying to you, I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, put together these calls to help you get started in your creative professional career as an independent business owner, not as a freelancer. You notice we didn't call scaling up from freelancer because I don't believe in freelancing in this capacity. I want to help you build a business. So the idea is these two calls, if you just apply a few of the concepts, you should be on your way to building a business so that I hope, if not in this cycle, in the very near future, I will see you as a Future Pro member. There are over 700 people. I'm dating myself here because soon when you see this in replay somewhere in the future, it'll probably be 800, 900,000, 2,000 people. I don't know how big this community is going to get. All I can say is I can't help you unless you make a decision to join us. So this is me. This is it. I try to deliver as much value as possible everywhere I can. And the way that we're able to sustain ourselves and grow our company and build a really powerful movement is by doing things like this, the Future Pro Group. Okay, everybody, I had a good time. I hope you did too. And Future Fam, I will see you next week. Different time, August 9th, Tuesday. I'll see you then where to go even deeper. And that'll conclude the 3-part series, Scaling from Zero. Everybody, I'll see you on call 207. Thank you very much, Future Pro people. Thanks for sticking in there with me. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye, everybody.